Hello and welcome to the Pod Awakens, a Star Wars podcast. My name is Jordan, and we are starting our countdown to the Acolyte. I guess it's really winding down. We finished our High Republic Road to the Acolyte, and now we are less than a week until the Acolyte launches on Tuesday night, June 4th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Our coverage of that will be starting next Wednesday evening. You'll probably more likely listen to it on Thursday as we record Wednesday evenings. This is our last Friday episode before the Acolyte. So I wanted to get something out here, just kind of catch up on some news that has come out, and maybe catch up on some other stuff here. Probably a short episode, not too much to dive into, but just a couple things that I was really interested in sharing with everybody, or getting my thoughts out there before the Acolyte really gets started. This this coming week, shifting to Fridays, will be our chronological Clone Wars recaps. So this upcoming week, you will be getting the first Acolyte recap late Wednesday night. And then we will get on Fridays, our chronological Clone Wars will be shifted to then. As the Acolyte recaps will go through Wednesdays for the rest of that run, which is 7 weeks, because the premiere is 2 episodes. So we'll be diving into that. We got some last minute stuff here that I wanted to talk about the Acolyte for as well before we really get into some of the other news that has kind of been percolating throughout. So let's go ahead and take a look and dive into the social media reactions from the Acolyte. So some people I think got to see 4 episodes, some may have gotten 2. But it sounds like the overall review is good. Really good. I'm getting a lot of praise on these early reviews. From Ren Geekness, very impressed with the Acolyte. Martial arts plus crime thriller plus space opera equals a unique atmosphere, characters, and stories. Jacob Fisher DF mixes a mystery thriller into the Star Wars universe, and it works so perfectly. Must-watch series and easy to get into without any previous knowledge. First 2 episodes are probably the best paced I've seen Star Wars television, and they throw you right into the story. So it seems like that has been going very well for people. So that is great. I know this show has been kind of controversial for no reason, and I would say controversial to the terminally online crowd, the people that are always online, maybe even people listen to podcasts. I think the casual fans don't really see anything bad about this show when they see trailers or whatever. But there are a segment of people that are upset that there's minority casting, or what have you, a female lead, whatever they can drum up as being controversial. I look at this and just think this looks like a great Star Wars time. I'm very excited to see the High Republic on screen. We had the whole series talking about High Republic books and building up to them as we're building up to the show. So for me, hearing these great replies from people that have actually seen it, that don't really have an agenda that they're pushing, makes me feel like, okay, I'm probably going to enjoy this show. And that's really all I worry about is the show good? Right? looking at some of these scenes that they've released, and I've tried to stay away from some because they're starting to churn out a lot of stuff. They're really building the hype machine, trying to get people interested in watching this show. But I've been trying to limit my view of that. And as I'm watching these, the choreography of the fight scenes have been really great. And then you're reading the list of what these people have worked on, and some of it's like Shang-Chi that they've worked on, some of the Matrix movies, I believe. Like the the way that they were choreographing fights, the three people they have involved have very extensive history and great choreography. I'm not worried about that. I think it looks great. It looks like, for people that complain about the volume, this show didn't use it that much to my knowledge. They were on like physical sets and on location, and probably some blue screen, green screen, of course. But to me, it looks great. Like when they showed that scene in the Phantom Menace at the end, it looked cinematic to me. I was like, man, I wish I could see this on a big screen. And good news, if you live in very select markets, they announced this yesterday, you can apply to see it on Monday night before the show premieres on Tuesday. Of course, none near me. I know we've talked about it on here quite a bit of how I really thought maybe with the listing from AMC and stuff that it came out before that, hey, maybe they open it up a bit. Maybe the Ahsoka one was a test of, Ahsoka episode 5 was in theaters for a bit. Maybe that would be the test run of like, okay, maybe we'll launch Acolyte in theaters, maybe limited theaters, but more than like I think it was like 30 some maybe theaters that they have listed. Not every state had one. And some would be scattered about. So I thought maybe with this show, they'd be like, all right, maybe we open it up to more, like less than Phantom Menace, but more than Ahsoka. Doesn't seem like that was the case. Bummer for me, because I would have loved to see this on the big screen, but, whatever. It's a TV show. We'll see it on TV Tuesday night, then we'll talk about it on here on Wednesday, and hopefully you join us for that episode. So that's most of the Acolyte stuff going on. They've been releasing a lot of like character profile stuff like that. I don't really want to dive into that stuff too much here on the show. I've only read a couple of them. I'm trying to get that information from the actual show. I don't want to feel like I'm reading everything and then like the first episode I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of knew all of that because of the pre-release stuff. I'm really hoping that that I'm able to just enjoy it, not try to dive too much into it, and get some of that stuff. Hopefully, if they don't like clearly say some of that stuff in the show, then yeah, I'll read it afterward or whatever. But for me right now, the main focus is on one. I got a lot of personal stuff going on. We're about to recarpet this whole room I'm in. So like once I'm done podcasting, once I'm done editing this tonight, this computer and all this stuff is getting shut down. I'm moving it into another room, and I'm working on moving more stuff out of this room so we can get the new carpet. So that's my Friday. My Saturday, I'm going to a sporting event. Well, Friday is the carpet. Today is the removal of stuff. Saturday, I'm going to the baseball game. Sunday, I'm probably working on building stuff for this is going to be the baby's room. Going to have stuff in here for that. And then it's like, all right, we're at Monday then. And Monday, Tuesday, Monday is just one day. And then Tuesday, it's Acolyte time. So for me this weekend, my whole point here is going to fly by. So the fact that I can't get it to the theater, or the fact that I don't have to read or watch everything that they release about this, because to be honest, I don't have the time. It's flying by. I'm trying to get this stuff, set up and settled here. So, hopefully it's going as fast for you as it is for me. I feel like when I was a kid, right, that gap between movies was a long time. And look, I mean, obviously we get more stuff at more like faster, right? Like last year we got Mando season 3 and Ahsoka. And a year later, here we are getting ready for the Acolyte, which is crazy. For us during those prequel times, it was 3-year gaps, right? 3-year gaps. And that I was reading every little thing. If there was a magazine with the characters on it, I'm grabbing it, right? If there was like a down period in my computer class, I was on StarWars.com reading the databanks and playing games on there, or like reading backstory stuff, or reading some of the novels and stuff like that in between films. And now we get stuff at such a fast clip. I don't even have time to rewatch a lot of this stuff before the next project comes out. I've not been able to revisit Ahsoka. I haven't revisited much of Mandalorian, seasons 1 through 3 at all in the past year or so, because we've been just getting stuff at such a quick pace. I got the Blu-rays for Obi-Wan and Andor. Haven't had a chance to really dive into any of that stuff the way I'd want to. And I just actually caught up on Bad Batch, and that was great. I really enjoyed Bad Batch, and I don't know if it's an overreaction right now for, the highs that Bad Batch had, but it's getting close to being my favorite of the animated series. Not a lot of filler in Bad Batch. People say there is, right? But at a certain point in season 2 onward, it is like gas on, like foot on the pedal, gassing up, going through as much story as they can, and resolving stuff from the Clone Wars, and resolving stuff for the Bad Batch as a whole, and all that kind of great stuff. I really enjoyed Bad Batch. I had to catch up and watch seasons 2 and 3 back to back, and finally got it done probably about a week or a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago at this point. I forget when, but really enjoyed it. Had a great time with Bad Batch, and that is going to be the next show we cover here after Chronological Clone Wars. So Logan and I, after Chronological Clone Wars, will move on to the Tales of the Jedi stuff, and then we are going to move over to what we are calling the Bad Batch binge, keeping the alliteration of Chronological Clone Wars. The Bad Batch binge, where we will be doing the same thing similar to what we do with Clone Wars, watch like 3 or 4 a week, discuss them, get through that, and then we'll move on to Rebels and possibly Resistance. So that's our goal. That's our vision for those shows. Talking about goals, talking about visions, we got some news to talk about here. There is a actress that was linked to the Mandalorian and Grogu film, and I was going to share that news here. Sigourney Weaver is linked to the Mandalorian and Grogu. This was, I believe, reported by Hollywood Reporter and Deadline. I forget who had it first. Hollywood Reporter, I think, is the one claiming they had it first. But they said Sigourney Weaver has gone up against face-hugging aliens, squared off against colonizers on lush green planets, and she has never faced stormtroopers and galactic bounty hunters until now. She's in talks to join the cast of The Mandalorian Grogu, the first Star Wars movie to go in production since 2019, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. So, of course, Mandalorian and Grogu, Jon Favreau is directing. I believe he wrote the script. And Dave Filoni is helping produce it. I see a lot of people always talking about how bad of a name the movie is. I really don't see a problem with the name The Mandalorian and Grogu. It tells you right there. And I think it's important to distinguish it just than not calling it The Mandalorian, because there's a TV show called that. So I think calling it The Mandalorian Grogu tells people Baby Yoda's in this. Go watch it. And so is Mandalorian. And, you can be like, oh, I really love Mandalorian and Grogu. And they're talking about the movie, and you don't have to say, I really love the Mandalorian film that takes place after season 3 of The Mandalorian. Like, I just feel like it's so much easier to have that name. It gets the brand recognition out there of The Mandalorian. It gets the Grogu recognition out there, which I think is important. And I think if you're getting cast like Sigourney Weaver, that's great. Who is she going to play? That is the big question. Hero or villain? I was asking my friend Ron his thoughts. He said, obviously, hero. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I can see Sigourney Weaver play a good villain. She does in the in the film Holes, the Disney film Holes with Shia LaBeouf. She plays a great villain role in that. But, she is sometimes a big hero character. So, really curious. I would love to see her be like a villain in The Mandalorian and Grogu. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know, some sort of ex-Imperial or just a brand new type of villain. Having her own plan that they have to shut down or something. I don't know. That'd be fun. It could be a hero. I do feel like we have a lot of hero characters that The Mandalorian and Grogu are friends with that I would rather have them show up instead of having a brand new friend that might, maybe she want to never come into the show. If they keep the show going with season 4 or anything, maybe she wouldn't film that. I don't know. Like, it seems. I think she'd play a really great villain, and that's kind of what I want to see from Sigourney Weaver in the Star Wars universe. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But just great to see that they have somebody like her attached to the project. It's wonderful. Really looking forward to this film. And I believe they're starting to film at the end of the year or in the summer. So, I mean, it is getting close for them to start filming. Probably August, September-ish. And then they'll, film for a few months like most blockbusters and, be in post for probably about a year leading up to 2026 when that film is supposed to drop. Perfect timing, I think. But great. Really, really glad that they're getting a movie to start shooting soon because it's been a bit. It's been 5 years. At the end of this year, it'll be 5 years since the last film came out. And while we've had the TV shows to help kind of, curb our appetite, I guess, nothing like seeing Star Wars in the theater, as I was reminded of when I saw Phantom Menace in theaters earlier this month. All right, leak time. We're talking Skeleton Crew. This was leaked. This is a official merchandise from Skeleton Crew. It's an official ingot with some of the characters carved on it. I mean, I don't have much to say about it. I'm just glad to see that there's some merchandise for this show. We're getting to see some of the character looks here. If you're watching on the YouTube video, if not, you can just probably Google Skeleton Crew ingot and probably find the image. We got 4 kids, one of them an alien. We have a droid-esque character behind them on it. Not too much to say about it, but I do think that shows that it is probably still slated for this year if merchandise is already leaking. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. All right, and kind of like the last news item that we really have today is the fun news here. that Star Wars is teaming up with one of our favorite brands, Oreos, and it has dark side or light side options. And this is what is going to be very interesting here is how many times are you going to try for the certain one that you want, because it is a the way that it works is you can't tell on the outside. So you open it up and you either have light side or dark side. And the characters will be light side or dark side characters on the cookie part of the Oreo. And the stuffing will be either blue or red for light or dark side. So, of course, light would be blue, red would be dark. And, they have the characters on the box here. So it looks like, Vader, Maul, Palpatine, Stormtrooper, Kylo Ren, Boba Fett are your dark side. Oh, and Grievous, it looks like. While you would have Han, Yoda, Rey, Leia, R2, 3PO, Obi-Wan, and Luke Skywalker as your cookies. And the only thing that would make this even better is if you could find your True Moo blue milk and you could dip your blue Oreo or red filled Oreo into your True Moo blue milk. I have not been able to find that still. I wish I could, because that would seriously be what it is. But I think pre-sales went on sale today, and then it's supposed to be in stores, I think, June 10th. So hopefully you can find these in the store on like June 10th. Go to your grocery store, and hopefully you can find these Oreos everywhere and, have a good time with these cookies. But that's really all I have for you today. Not much to go on here. I'm just really excited that the countdown is almost over here for the Acolyte. A brand new entry, brand new era into live action Star Wars. We're getting, let's not forget, Wookiee Jedi, right? We're getting all bunch of different new alien Jedi that you don't see in live action that much since the prequels. So that for that I am very happy, very pleased to be seeing new aliens on screen, or aliens on screen that are Jedi, that are going to be main characters for the show. That's the big selling point for me, and it being a new era away from the Skywalkers. Let's see what else we can get into. Let's see Vernestra in live action. If you don't know who Vernestra is, that's fine. Just enjoy the story. Hopefully it's a good one. And, I'm always a positive guy. I'm a positive guy that this will be good. I'm a positive guy that I will enjoy it. And I like to go into things positive instead of being like, oh, this is gonna suck. I feel like when you go in with that mindset, it's a lot harder to have your opinion changed. I do. There's been times where I've been really excited for something. I come out thinking it was not good. And that was not as hard of a change. But I feel like when you go into something with your mind already against it, already made up, it does have a harder time to be like, oh no, I did enjoy that. Because I feel like then you're looking for stuff to pick apart. Oh, I hated this part. I hated this. So for me, I'm going in with an open mind. I'm ready to be wowed. If I'm not wowed, I'll tell you. And we'll be breaking it down every Wednesday evening here on the Pod Awakens. So thank you. You can follow us at Pod Awakens on all of our social media. Reach out to us, podawakens@gmail.com. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you Wednesday for Acolyte episodes 1 and 2 recaps here on the Pod Awakens.